The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Miss Metavi Simmons. Chapter 20. The Trail of Potter. Tom soon began to wonder why his longed for holiday was not as exciting as he had hoped. The circuit came. After it had gone, the boys had a circuit of their own, intents made of auras. The price of admission was 3 pence for boys and 2 for girls. After 3 days, their circus was given up. There were some boys and girls parties, but they were so few and delightful that they only made the emptiness between harder to bear. Becky Thatcher was away with her parents, and so there was no bright side to live anywhere. Tom fell ill. When he had recovered, he wandered down the street and found Jim Hollis acting as judge in a court composed of children. He was trying a cat for murder in the presence for her victim, a bird. Murder was the chief subject of conversation in the village, for the murder trial came on in court. Tom took Huck aside to have a talk with him. It would be a relief to unseal his tongue. Moreover, he wanted to assure himself that Huck had not betrayed the secret. Huck, have you told anybody about that? About what? You know. Oh, of course. I haven't. Huck, they couldn't force you to tell, could they? Force me to tell? Why? If I want that half-breed devil to kill me, they could force me to tell. As the twilight drew on, they found themselves hanging about the neighborhood for the little person, and they did as they had often done before. They gave Porter some tobacco and matches. Through the bars, they felt very cowardly and treacherous when Porter said, "You've been very good to me, boys. I often say to myself, I used to mean all the boys' kites and things and show them the best fishing place and befriend them when I could. And now they've forgotten me when I am in trouble. But Tom hasn't, and Huck hasn't. Shake hands. Yours will come through the bar, but mine's too big, little hand and weak. But they've helped me a lot, and they'd help me more if they could." Tom went home miserable, and his dreams that night were full of horrors. The next day and the day after, he hung about the court. At the end of the second day, the village talk was that Redskin Joe's evidence stood firm and unshaken, and that there was not the slightest doubt what the jury's verdict would be. Tom was out late that night and came to bed through the window. He was in a state of great excitement. It was hour before he got to sleep. All the village folks flocked to the cow the next morning, for this was to be the great day. After a long wait, the jury took their place. Soon afterward, Porter Peel and Timid was brought in and seated where all curious eyes could stare at him. No less noticeable was Redskins Joe's evil face. Then the judge and the sheriff arrived. The usual whisperings among the lawyers and the gathering together for papers followed. This detail and the accompanying the accompanying delays give an impressive sense of expectation. Now, a witness was called who said that he found Porter washing in a stream at an early hour on the morning when the murder was discovered, and that he immediately crept away. After some questioning, the lawyer for the prosecution said, "Examine the witness." The lawyer for the defense said, "I have no questions to ask him." Then, next witness described the finding of the knife near the body. The lawyer for the prosecution said, "Examine the witness." "I have no question to ask him," Porter's lawyer replied. A third witness swore that he had often seen the knife in Porter's possession. "Examine the witness." Porter's lawyer refused to question him. The face of the audience began to show annoyance. Did this lawyer mean to throw away the prisoner's life without an effort to save him? Every detail of what occurred in the graveyard that memorable morning was described by trustworthy witness, but none of them was cross-examined by Porter's lawyer. The lawyer of the prosecution now said, "By the oath of citizens whose word is above suspicion, we have shown beyond all possibility of doubt that this awful crime was committed by the prisoner." A groan escaped from Porter, and there was a painful silence in court. The lawyer of the defense wrote and addressed the judge. "Your Honor, in our remark at the opening of the trial, we showed that we intend to prove that the prisoner did this fearful deed while under the influence of drink. We have changed our mind. We shall not offer that excuse." Turning to the clerk, he said. Call Tom Sawyer. Everyone in court looked bored, amazed, and puzzled. Tom, looking rather frightened, rose and took his place upon the stand. He swore the oath. Tom Sawyer, where were you on the 17th of June? About the hour of midnight. Tom glanced at Red Skin Joe, iron face, and his tongue refused to move. The audience listened, breathless, but the words would not come. After a few moments, however, the boy got a little of his strength back, and he managed to put enough of it into his voice to make part of the crowd hear. In the graveyard. A trifle louder, please. Don't be afraid. You were in the graveyard. A scornful smile passed across Red Skin Joe's face. Were you anywhere near House Williams' grave? Yes, sir. Speak up a trifle louder. How near were you? As near as I am to you. Were you hidden or not? Hidden. Where? Behind the trees on the edge of the grave. Red Skin Joe gave a slight start. Did you hear anything there with you? Tom hesitated and looked confused. Speak out, my boy. What did you take there? Oh, only a dead cat. There was some laughter with the judge shaked. We shall produce the remains of that cat as an evidence. Now, my boys, tell us everything that occurred. Tell it in your own way. Don't omit anything, and don't be afraid. Tom began astonishingly at first, but soon his words flowed more and more easily, with paths left the audience listening to his terrible tale. And as the doctor brought the board down and Porter fell, Red Skin Joe jumped with the knife and crash! As quick as lightning, the half-breed sprang towards a window, tore his way through all who tried to stop him, and was gone. Tom was a hero once more, the pet of the old and the envy of the young. His name was Ever Prince. For the village newspaper report the part he had played. Tom's days were days of glory, but his nights were seasons of horror. Red Skin Joe was present in all his dreams and always with a fatal gleam in his eye. Nothing could persuade the boy to go out of doors after sunset. Poor Huck was in the same state of terror. Tom had told the whole story to the lawyer the night before a trial, and Huck feared that his share in the murder might be found out. Since Tom's conscience had driven him to betray his oath, Huck's confidence in the human race had practically vanished. During the day, Porter's gratitude made Tom feel glad that he had spoken, but at night he was that he had said nothing. Rewards were offered. The country was searched, but Redskin Joe was not found. The days went slowly by, and each day Tom felt a little less afraid.